right. Are we going? Are we good? All right, that was weird. It was like, it was like, it was like this and like that and like this, y'all. Oh, I'm having a hair day, huh? Look at this. This is crazy. Check this out. Woo! Whoa! I feel like Madam and Waylon Flowers and Madam. And now I've got hair goop all over my hands. Oh. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Auntie Belle. Good morning, Charlie Brown. Hey, good morning. Laura Gibbon Vo, nice to see you. Lucy Lou. Now, do not worry, I will not out you. I will not out you. Erin, hey, to the mug, to the mug. I just saw somebody who said masshole. I know you guys. I'm from Mass myself. Damn it, Donna. Can't you even hear it? There's an invisible R. See, even me having to say R, it's like a new thing. There's an invisible I in my Donna. I talk about pop music. Good morning, everybody. So yeah, it's funny. My husband, who's not from in New England, he's from Delaware. He cracks up every time I try to say my aunt and uncle's name, Rita and Patrick. But somehow I put an I at the end of Rita, so it's Rita and Patrick. So anywho, a bunch of things. Hey, Oceanana, speaking of New England, I hope you're feeling better, dear, okay? I am so glad you're taking care of yourself. You guys, it's the most important thing. If you don't have your physical health, if you don't have your mental health, everything is so much more difficult. Everything is so much more difficult when you're not feeling well. So do the things you know how to do to get yourself feeling better, okay? I will always go back to the simples, you know? Oh, hey, look at this. I love this. Laura Gibbon Voorhees says, I think my decluttering bug bit my hubby. He sorted his closet yesterday. What I want to offer to you, yeah, I love that. Notice how leading by example, even in cluttering, can work. Shannon in retrograde, nice to see you. I will say that my husband and I, so I mentioned that we were going to spend some time down the basement, or the cellar, as we would call it at home, going down the cellar, and that we were going to go down there and declutter. Now, I have done that a wicked lot of decluttering down our cellar, but my husband has substantially more items down the basement than I do. So I said, come on, let's just spend some time. We barely spent an hour and a half down there. Now, mainly what I did was I just sat there kind of in the body doubling mode, but also in the you're not leaving this room until the stuff is done mode, I will confess. So good morning, everybody. But yeah, leading by example. And as I said to my husband after he did it, the cool thing is I saw him making decisions about stuff that he wanted and what he didn't want. He had made certain decisions about things he wanted to keep a certain, maybe 6 months or a year ago. Today, things are different. So he was able to, and the neat thing is he was able to pull some things out, not everything, pull some things out of the stuff that he had saved. We now have a pile that's going to go to the Habitat for Humanity store in our town. And we have a plan for when it's going there. Now, he likes to go there because he likes to go in and then see what they have. He also felt really good about the fact that he saw some people had donated some kind of musical equipment there. So he feels good about having a place to donate his stuff. Now, this is all the stuff that you and I talk about, but I also try to coach in my own world. And walking down the basement now, the cellar looks so much better because of even just the stuff he decided to keep, was categorizing it and storing it in a place that isn't necessarily just this big pile of guitar cases in your face. So yay for decluttering because it makes you feel good, but also being an inspiration to others that you live with or maybe just are hanging around with. Now, I love it. Look at how decluttering can make you feel good. Laura says also, I got rid of a bunch of things on my Facebook community free page. Folks were so grateful and makes me smile. So many of us don't start decluttering because, and in case we haven't met, I'm sorry, I always just jump into things. This is my jam because I see people and I start chatting. But then I realize I am the hostess of this party that's going on for the next 54 minutes or so. So my name is Beth. Welcome to my room here. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. So I show up on TikTok at scheduled times throughout the week and help you if you're stuck with clutter, and also help you connect. Like, there's a number of people's names I'm starting to recognize. And so, like Laura Gibbon Voorhees, we've been kind of hanging out for a while in the virtual world, and we share the things that worked for us decluttering in the hopes that it would help somebody else. And we also share the things that we're stuck with so I can help and other people can chime in with what helped them. Here's a random thing that I will share with you, is this kind of community and connection has been something that probably back in the day prior to newspapers or internet would be something like you would be sitting there with your neighbors and exchanging tips and tricks. Then whatever reason it came to me, maybe because I was talking in my Boston accent, when I was growing up and I was reading the Boston Globe, they would have this thing called the Confidential Chat. And it was printed in the paper, but you could write in and say, I'm stuck, I don't know how to do this. Or, hey, here's a way I have found to clean, the tarnish off of the bottom of my Revereware pots. So this kind of community and connection and exchanging of information is a great way to feel connected, especially in times like these where you may not be feeling so connected. So this is why I show up, and I show up in the spirit of encouragement and possibility and change, because I have found, now trust me, I have been discouraged these last many days, but discouragement and fear is just makes me feel crappier. If I stay in that kind of spinning of the wheels, it doesn't make me feel good. So I am making a choice to show up and help you, and it helps me too. It makes me articulate. Monk, good morning. Yeah. A Wild says, love how you do not cover weaknesses with problems. Yeah, I do the best I can. Listen, you guys, I'm a human being on the planet. I am not AI generated, and I am not playing any kind of character except for myself. I don't know how to be anybody else but myself, and for decades that has been kind of working out for me, but at this point I'm getting too old to try to pretend to be something I'm not. Okay? So, as I like to say, I kind of riff on stuff and I help you, but I can only meet you where you're at. So, where are you? Where are you doing something well that you want to kind of, recommend to people? This is how I've decluttered. But also, where are you stuck? Because where you're stuck, trust me, I one-on-one coach people all week with clutter. So, what you may think is unique to your situation may be something that somebody else that you don't even know is struggling with. Okay? All right, Benny the Swag Tag Dog. Funny you should mention it. So Benny is asking, how do you help your adult parent who is a hoarder? Couple of things. Now, I will share this to you, Benny. We may not have met before, but I grew up with cluttered parents. As we speak, my sister is up helping my mother with something. So I know what it's like. For the past 3 years, 3 years, I had to do the math. My mother finally allowed me to help with some of the clutter. I had been asking and encouraging and saying, do you want my help? Do you want my help? For decades, literally. Finally, she has said, okay. So I will say this. Much like you, I'm meeting you where you are. Meet your mom. Actually, I apologize. You said your adult parent. I'm inferring mother just because of my own situation. Meet your person in your life who's struggling with clutter where they are. Don't judge them. Get curious. Okay? Now, I like to talk about this. Judgment is over here under the umbrella of fear. Remember that show from the 70s, Umbrella of Fear? I crack myself up. Judgment brings you down. Curiosity opens you up. Just show up in the spirit of love and possibility, not judgment and shaming. And ask your adult parent, would you like some help with this? Now, the different thing, now we bandy about the word hoarder quite cavalierly because it's kind of a dramatic word, and also because of that TV show Hoarders. Now, I'm not saying your adult parent is or isn't a hoarder. That's not for me to decide, but there are ways that you can determine there. There's like a hoarding scale that's available. You can look online for that. When somebody is truly a hoarder and they don't want to change, but their hoard is affecting their physical and mental health, sometimes the best thing to do is to get a mental health professional involved. Now, there are mental health professionals out there who probably help people with hoarding, because hoarding is a diagnosis in the DSM-5, and mental health professionals are specifically trained to help people with that. I am like that. I'm like that light. You know what I mean? I do not have that kind of training. So that's one of the reasons when I do TikTok, when I do my one-on-one coaching, we do a consultation beforehand, because I have a certain level of expertise in training and coaching and all that. But what I want to say is just, how would you feel if you were struggling with somebody? You would want to know that somebody's there to help you. You would want to feel safe in the fact that if they decided to help you, that they weren't going to be judgy or shamey or making fun of you. And, okay, Allie Catherine, thank you. But just show up the way you would want to be helped, with kindness and patience and sensitivity and love. Okay. Benny the Swag says she has to downsize a 4-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom as she is struggling. Okay. Yeah. And LA 64367 says some people have mobility issues and it's hard for them too. 100%. Show up with the skills you have. Now, Benny, if you could be the physical person that helps that person, help them with that. If your benefit is like me, mine is like the thoughts behind why it is struggling. Why are you struggling to release those items? Some of the items in your house are easy to release, others not so much. Now, because you're mentioning this as a parent, what I also like to do is this, one of the reasons I out myself as a Gen Xer. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you look at me that I'm not wicked young or wicked old. But I say this because we are between the generations, and we are now dealing with having been brought up by people who were affected by World War II and the Great Depression of the 1930s, and probably a lot of lack in the early 20th century. And again, I'm speaking from my perspective. So there are grandparents and parents that have been affected by not having a lot, and then the abundance splurge of the post-war boom. And then, oh my gosh, all of a sudden we've got all this stuff, but still that fear of what if that happens again? So understand the context from where these people are coming from. It also may give you that it's not just them, but it's the way they grew up. Okay? Yeah. So patience, kindness, I just printed something out. Now I forgot where I put it. It's probably on my clipboard right there. Love. It's all going to come down to love and kindness and patience and all these curiosity, non-judgment. Show up there. And if they say they don't want help, honor that. But if it is a danger to them or their mental and physical health, you may need to get some professionals involved. But start small. Start with, hey, what can I do to help you? That's how I showed up this morning. Hey, this is me. That's you. What can I do to help you? Well, I got my toolkit in the back seat. I can't, fix a broken garbage disposal, but I can help you a little bit with your clutter. Okay? I hope that helps. So it's me, Deb. I love it. Timer set yesterday. Your timer, it's on your phone. It may be something like a little thing like this. You can set a timer. Deb says 15 minutes and cleaned out my pantry. Yeah. Your brain will often, when it doesn't want to do anything, what your brain may tell you is, oh my God, that's going to take forever. You can always notice, I like to call it my backseat driver. Backseat driver is a little drama queen in the backseat. Oh my God, it's going to take forever. 15 minutes doesn't matter. Deb said 15 minutes cleaned out the pantry. She says, we are in the midst of a little kitchen reno, and I was feeling out of control. So notice this. Notice when you are feeling out of control, and I like to play the opposite game. I don't know, it should have been something that was on like Sesame Street or something. But when you are feeling out of control and that doesn't feel good, what would you rather feel? You want to feel the opposite. You want to feel a bit more in control. Now, you may not be able to control the kitchen renovation, but you can do something small and important to calm down your nervous system to remind you that you can control some things. And that's the wonderful thing about clutter, people, is that you have complete control over your clutter. Deb went into the pantry, cleaned it out 15 minutes, was feeling out of control. I'm going to bet that after that 15 minutes and probably wheat from chaff, throwing away stuff, organizing things, saying, whoa, we got a lot of palmini here, that you felt a little bit more in control. Feeling out of control doesn't necessarily feel good. That's your nervous system. So notice what you're doing to make yourself feel better. Make yourself feel better. Okay? Yeah. Only put back what you need and use. Yeah. Sentimental items. Benny, okay, she doesn't want to do with all of it. Okay, let me help you with this. All right? She may not know what to do with all of it, but she may know what to do with some of it. So start with some, not all. Not the absolutes, but the little chunking it downs. Okay? So notice that stuff and help her with what she does. None of us know what to do with all of it, but there are some things when you chunk it down. All of the items for my late brother and late father, that's a wicked lot for the emotional, your nervous system to handle. But what she could do is say, well, I'm just going to take a look at, and maybe it's easier to look at one person's things versus the others. And within that category, there's going to be a hierarchy. Okay? There's going to be a hierarchy of what those things are. Start, if you're getting overwhelmed by the big, start small. Yeah. There we go. I hope that helps. Yeah, and this is what it is. Now, backing up here. And Coach K says, I didn't set the timer, just put on a throwback jams on MC. There you go. Music is a wonderful way to help time go by and you don't even notice it. Songs can be 3 to 5 minutes long or longer. You listen to some songs, time passes, you do things. And Deb had the football on. Make these things feel more fun to you. You know, Coach K says, next thing I knew, because you were in the zone, it was an hour and a half later, and I have never been able to do that before. So Coach K, you found out something that works for you. You are creating your own, what I call like your toolkit for decluttering. You are creating your toolkit, and so notice what you did that worked for you. Write it down. Put on some jams. Put on your pajamas or get out of your pajamas. Putting on your shoes, I've heard, helps people. You know, find what works for you. Experiment with what works and what doesn't. Now, I like to have a kind of quiet when I am decluttering because I need to hear myself think, what do I want to do with this? Other times, if I'm just doing surface clutter, do-do-do, do-do-do, you know, kind of bopping along, I could have music on, which reminds me, I got to get my husband to plug in the new turntable. But yeah, notice the things that work for you so you can do it again. Yay, Monk is saying, and good, I'll pass this along. I'm glad what I'm offering is working. Monk is saying, chunking it down has helped me so much. If you're looking at it too big, you guys, think about it. You're eating a whole salad. How do you start? A bite at a time. A whole steak, a whole elephant, whatever you want to eat. You start with a little chunk. A little human-sized chunk that you can digest and deal with. You try to do it all, it doesn't work. So chunking it down to get started works. And then as well as using categories. Categories. We used to play that game. You know? Categorizing things is also a way of chunking it down. It is taking the chaotic clutter and saying, wait, I know that there are some themes here. I know that there's some categories here. Clothing, perfect example. You open up your closet, whoa, I got so much. Chunk it down. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, blouses, slacks, trousers. Pull out one category, and within that category, you're going to find a hierarchy of stuff you like better than others. Notice these things. Okay? Still struggling to find a home for everything. Yes, but notice a home for everything. Notice when we're talking in absolutes. You don't have to find a home for everything right away, but I bet you found a home for some things. And the finding of homes sometimes takes a while. But what you found is you found where you don't want it was where it was, so move it closer to where you think it's going to be. Okay? Damn it, Donna says, black coffee helps me focus. I totally like a big cup of tea and, you know, some caffeine. And writing down things totally helps me focus because I know what I'm focusing on. Okay? Joanne is suggesting use audiobooks. Using audiobooks. So there we go. So A Wild says, I'm so invested in material stuff instead of life. Your life's health. You know what? I'm glad my lives are helping. So let me help your life and say, if you're realizing this about yourself, you can change at a moment's notice. You don't have to change all at once, but you can just say, nope, I'm going to stop driving down the road of material things. You may be living in a material world, but you don't have to be a material girl. Material items give a very short satisfaction thing. It's like eating candy versus eating something really tasty and nutritious. So if you're noticing that what you're doing to shop and to feel better in material goods is not working out for you, you can stop that. You can slow down, you can stop, and then you can start doing something else. And it can feel better. Notice how up thread, Laura Gibbons Voorhees said she's giving away things that she collected stuff, and now she's sharing it with other people, and that sharing feels good. So the flip side of accumulation, I guess, would be distribution. But notice the opposite. When one thing you're doing is not making you feel good, start with even just getting curious about what the opposite thing is. I was doing that myself today. I have a whole sheet that I use when I'm working with clients. I was using it with myself because I was realizing for these past many days, I've been waking up not feeling good and going through the day not feeling good. And I said, okay, what can I do to make myself feel better? So I identified what I wasn't feeling good about, and then I was working through it, and then I got a call from my sister. My sister's fine. In case anybody was on the TikTok live yesterday, my sister was just calling to ask me a question. She was just a little bit more chop than I wanted her to be. Okay? So, yes, exactly. Categories, names of, Okay, Jam Mom 13, my perfectionist brain wants it all done in a day. I can't get over that. Yes, you can. You can get over that. You can. Your perfectionist brain is only half of the story. Half of your story. Now, this is how I like to play. I like to make this fun. So I like to talk about you being in your life as being in the driver's seat of a car. And it is your car and your life, and you're driving anywhere you want. But you're not alone in your car. You have two voices in the car. And I like to call this your backseat driver and your co-pilot. Now, your backseat driver is the one that's telling you, no, you can't change. Do not change. It has to be perfect. It is the one that's keeping you stuck. You are driving in circles. You're stuck in the mud. You're doing the same thing over and over again because you're listening to your backseat driver. Now, to cut to the chase, to me, backseat driver is fear, and it is that fight, flight, or fawn. There's a wicked lot of F's there. But it is that fear of change, that fear of the unknown, that fear of different. That's your backseat driver. So it's going to say, it needs to be perfect. Needs to be perfect or we're not doing it at all. Perfection will get in the way of progress. Now, your co-pilot voice, for many of my clients, it's like, oh, I heard your voice in my head. Hear my voice in your head and think of me kindly. That's me doing my Morrissey. All right? If you know, you know. I speak from the perspective of your co-pilot. I am there next to you. I'm in the passenger seat. And I've got the map and I've got the snacks. And I am just sitting there so excited to help you get to where you want to go. But this is your road trip. And you are behind the wheel. Your foot is on the gas or the brake. Your hand is on the ignition. You're either turning it on or turning it off. You're deciding where you steer. So many things are like life-y. You also are the one who decides who to listen to. Now, I like to call co-pilot love. I'm sitting there in love, in the energy of love, being like, oh man, I am so excited to help you do this. I can't wait, but I will wait because this is not my road trip. This is you. You also have this voice inside of you. Some people call it God. Some people call it my, guardian angel. Some people call it spirit or the universe, your soul, yourself. They call it Carl. They call it Wendy. That's not my name. That's not my name, right? So your perfectionist is keeping you stuck, but you can choose to think something different from your co-pilot voice. It doesn't need to be perfect. Nothing's perfect. It just needs to be better than it is now. Does that phrase make it feel like you want to get started a little bit more, I could do that. It's not going to be perfect. I have given up the idea of perfection, and man, it is freeing. Every time I pack for a trip, I know that inevitably I'm going to be having too much of some stuff and not enough of the other. But I know that going in, so I'm going to give it the best shot. And knowing that it's not going to be perfect helps me get started. Okay? So notice that. You can do something different. All right? Now I'm backing up. She's backing up. She's backing up. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's time for scares. It's time for screams. Okay. Lazy Pause Club. I love this. My issue is that there's so many other priorities in my life, and decluttering takes the back burner. I'm not going to say you're wrong. What I say is get curious. Get curious about what are the other priorities and write them down. What are the things that get in your way of saying, I can't do decluttering because I have to do this? What's this? Write them down. And what I want to offer too, and this is one of the reasons why I coach on so many levels, and one of the things I do help my clients with is time management and managing your time and saying, make time for what's important to you. But I will also offer, get curious about those things that you write down that are taking up your time. How could having a less cluttered home make those things easier? Okay? Time management, managing your time. This right here, this is my time management. Right here, I am managing my time by getting a 35-cent notebook from Staples and writing it down. And writing down the things I want to do and making time, blocking out time. I block out time to do a TikTok live. I block out time in my day to be available if somebody wants to do a consultation in case they want to be one of my one-on-one clients. I block out time for my clients. But I also block out time to take a walk. I block out time to go to yoga. I block out time to spend time with my husband. I block out time to go down the basement and declutter stuff. Putting up loving boundaries of saying, no, I'm going to do this now. And then not allowing other things, unless they are crises, to stop you is a skill. It is a skill. So this is something that decluttering, you're also decluttering your schedule and saying that doesn't matter, this does. You know? Yeah, there we go. I love this. Ziggy says, this week I started putting up some Christmas things. The decluttering I did last January blessed me. Yes, how in love are you with your past self? Thinking about, kind of like, what's his name? Christmas Carol, Scrooge, Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. Think of how grateful you are to past you for doing decluttering back in January. Because now November you, is saying, oh my gosh, thank you. And then maybe when you put away your Christmas stuff in the end of December or January, whenever you do it, Ziggy, maybe this year you'll also say, hey, this was fun, but which things did I use everything that I put away from last year? There might be another 10%. There might be another 10% that you can kind of skim off the top, so that November 2025 you will be grateful to past you for doing this. Okay? So notice this. And I love this. CGAVZY says, I cleaned my pantry and dining room during your live yesterday. Yes, perfect thing. Let me say to people, I'm going to be here for another half hour. You don't have to look at the screen to benefit from what I'm saying. Please, if you are able to and you want to, get up and do some surface area decluttering. C. Gavsey says, I cleaned my pantry and dining room during your live yesterday, and this is the best part, I feel so satisfied. That's why I want you to get decluttering. Getting up and taking action helps you feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. And I realized I want to make sure I plug this thing in. Excuse me. Oh, okay. Yeah. Monk is even encouraging you, Jam Mom. I started focusing on perfecting one small area at a time. Yeah, get close to perfection. That's a thing. Lydia says, per Mom's request, helped her with a garage sale. Only made $3, but ridded them from stuff is priceless. Yes, any way that feels easier for people to release things including yourself, help them. What's an easy way? What is an easy way that you can do this? Okay? I love it. Okie teacher. Hey, Okie teacher, nice to see you. I cleaned out my medicine cabinet. Yes, I cleaned out my medicine cabinet. Notice that you can pick a small place, your medicine cabinet. I know I did decluttering this week. I know I did. Actually, I decluttered one of my clipboards here that has a lot of notes that I've taken to always improve my coaching. So notice you can feel good. Okay? Yeah. Shauna doesn't want material things, no knickknacks, no clothing. Awesome. Go for it. You might have to move. I'm going to tell my children, do not get me anything for Christmas. Yeah. So notice what is a gift and what becomes a burden. How about the gift of helping me clean out this stuff? How about the gift of helping me move these things? How about the gift of your time? How about the gift of your attention? Now, we live in a capitalist consumerist society. There are people who make shit tons of money off of us buying stuff. When we want to rebel against that, we say, I don't need your stuff because what I have is right here. And notice where my hand went when I said that? My stuff is right here. It's in my heart. It's the people I love. It's the conversations I have. It's the songs I sing. It's the connections I make. It is the stories I tell, the stories I share, the time I spend with people I love. None of those things can be bought at Target or the mall or online or on your TikTok shop. So many people say, oh no, you need more. You need more because somebody else is making money off of you buying an item. Now, do I sell my coaching? Yes, I do. But it is something that lives in here, and changes your life in a good way for the rest of your life, should you decide. This is one of the reasons I don't give out workbooks. This is one of the reasons I don't make, I'm not going to write a book. I don't want to add to your physical clutter. I want to help you change your mental clutter. Okay? So this is what these things do. There we go. Damn it, Donna. Like I did. I threw out all my expired seasonings. Some were ancient. Isn't it funny? You guys, we don't realize how quickly time goes. Okay, teacher, I love it. I introduce you to my cousin. She is in the same situation that I am with her parents. So many of us are, you guys, so many of us are. As I mentioned, I have my aging mother. She's 83, above. I have me in my 50s. I have my nieces and nephew that are in their late teens and early 20s. We are all in this together. We are generationally going through a lot of this stuff together. So I show up to tell you you're not alone. There's help out there. And I have walked through it. I have walked the walk, and I'm talking the talk only after I've walked the walk. And I continue to walk the walk. So I know what I'm talking about. And so I just want to share what worked for me might work for you. Okay? Yeah. Michelle Smith says, what do we tackle at this time before the holidays? Anything you want. But what I would say is, this is what I like to think. Right now, we're kind of on the downward slope to Thanksgiving and what I call the December holidays, and then New Year's, and then the New Year's, and then we're going to be back. I think it would be very beneficial to all of us to just sit down, and this is my thing. This is going to be a tool in your toolkit. Your hand, your pen, and some lined paper. It doesn't even have to be lined. And ask yourself, what do I want Thanksgiving to look and feel and function like? What do I want December to look and feel? What am I aiming for? Because it depends on what you're aiming for. Somebody who's having 50 people over for Thanksgiving, they're going to have a different journey than somebody who is going to somebody else's house and bringing the green beans. So write down what you want. Michelle Smith, what do you want your holiday season 2024 to look like, to feel like? What do you want it to include? Write that stuff down. And then notice where decluttering can make those things happen. Okay? Damn it, Donna says staying peaceful. So yeah, if I want peace, what am I going to do to get peace? Yes, it's me. Deb is also saying it's, yep, I have to do a brain dump. I'm trying to unmute that. I got some things here. So yes, do a brain dump. Get whatever's coming up, write it down. Get it out of your head and down onto paper. This is the way the world works. Every single thing in the world that has come that has been built has been written down somewhere. Keeping it all in your head just gets it all confused. It's like a junk drawer up here, okay? It's a junk drawer full of good stuff, but dump down the junk and pull out what you want from the junk drawer. Your brain is a junk drawer. Get used to dumping it out and organizing it, and dumping it out and organizing it, and dumping it out and organizing it, and then realize that every time you do that, there's less and less in there because you've already dumped it out and organized it. Now, Missy said, I threw out old Christmas stuff. I decided not to put up a tree because I have no little ones. Awesome. Notice that what you do at the holidays can change depending upon what era of your life you're in. My husband and I, we had 2 Christmas trees down the basement. I grew up in a live tree family, and then for the first couple of years we had a live tree, but then we thrifted this really awesome 1950s white tree. So then we used that for a while. But then we realized we had this other, even better 50s aluminum tree that we thrifted. So then that was easier to put up than the white one. But for a number of years, we still had the white one down the basement. Last year, I said to myself, mental note, and I wrote myself a mental note. I put it on my calendar for November 1st of 2024. Said, remember to go and redonate, to donate that white Christmas tree to someplace where somebody else can get it. Now, we have that plan. I've pulled it out of our Christmas section, and it is closer to the door so it can go to Habitat for Humanity on Wednesday when they open up. But notice, for a number of years I used it, and then I didn't, and now I realized I'm not going to use it again, so I was able to get rid of it. There we go. Shiwu. Yeah, here I am. Good morning. Your live popped up, and I so need it. I do lives, just so you know, for those of you who are just meeting me. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Earlier, if you heard me talk about things like a road trip, and now that I'm back in my office, you can see a little road trip behind me. I do lives pretty much every day. Now, they're a different time of day. They usually start at top of the hour, as we would say in college radio in the 80s. But what I want to offer to you is that I also have a free mailing list. Now, I don't send out a lot of emails. People on my mailing list know. They're like, did I miss one? I'm like, no, I haven't sent one out yet. Because I only share good stuff. Now, I share with you, the people on the mailing list know what my schedule is for when I do TikTok Lives. So if you like this and you want to tune in live again, you'll know where to get that. People on the mailing list also have first dibs access to the recordings of my TikTok Lives for free. All this stuff is for free, you know? So, yeah, this is how I show up. So if we haven't met before, nice to meet you. If you find like you want to hang out, good. Just no haters, okay? There we go. Wendy M says, I don't find joy in decorating, so I don't have the stress or need to store those items. Yeah, I used to find the joy. Then I had too much and I didn't find the joy. Now I have a smaller amount of items to decorate with, and so I have been able to bring the joy back to it. LA64367 says, would like one of those pop-up trees that are decorated and already fold flat to store. Give it a shot, you know? All right, Lazy Paws Club. My husband just bought home a second generator that we don't need. It's infuriating and defeating, okay? LBD, nice to see you. What I want to offer is, don't get infuriated and defeated. Get curious. Get curious. Ask your husband why he brought it home. He and his nervous system may feel like you guys need it. Please, my husband bought a generator that I was like, we don't need a generator. But it was important to him for him to feel safe that if the lights went out, we could generate so we had lights. Have a conversation, because what you're doing when you're decluttering is you're having a conversation with yourself. When you're trying to understand why other people clutter, you need to have a conversation with them. Yeah. No, Shiwu, I don't you can tap the follow button if you want to follow me here on TikTok, but then go to my website. I apologize. I totally forgot to tell you how to sign up for the mailing list. Go to destinationdecluttered.com, destinationdecluttered.com, my website, and there's a join page. Just go there, and all you need to do is put your email there, okay? Yeah. Okay, so he is trying to help us feel prepared. Notice what he's doing. He's bringing things into your life to make his nervous system feel safe and protected. That's all we ever do. All of us bring things into our lives to help ourselves feel better. Now, better is kind of a general word, so if it's safe, unsafe, happy, unhappy, whatever it is, notice we bring things into our lives to make us feel better. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it's just too much stuff. Okay? So notice that. Notice the fear is keeping you hanging on to things. The fear will cause you to bring in things that some people think you don't want. It's up to you guys having that convo. But just notice how your and his nervous system is making decisions. It's not intellectual. We don't need to. We have one. His fear is that, well, what if that one goes out? I'm afraid that that one will go out. Fear tends to have us acquiring things and holding on to them. Trust and love and curiosity help you release the things that you don't need. Now, what you don't need is different for everybody, but allowing yourself to go through that process may help you understand that. Yeah. Lynette, notice the fear, the worry. Worry about getting rid of old computers, worried about sensitive info on them. You know what? I would offer this, Lynette. You can Google how to wipe my computer clean. There are ways you can do that. So you don't have to worry about what people are going to find. You can also, if you just want to recycle it, you can probably hit it with a hammer. But there are ways you can reduce your worry and your fear. There's ways that you can empty out your computer. I'm going to do that within the next month because my computer is getting slow and heavy and kludgy. And so I'm going to be doing the same thing. If I find out anything wicked easy, I'll offer it up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to rely on the experts. I have a friend who knows a lot more about computers than I do. I know that there's people I can reach out to on the internet that can help me with that stuff. So there are people out there that can help you with what you're worried about. Okay? I hope that helps. I love it. User 1963 says, Beth, you're helping the world one junk drawer at a time. Yes, I am. The junk drawer called your head, Damn it, Donna says, I love how you explain things. Yeah, you know what? I do this because I know how important it was for me to more easily change my life when I heard somebody explain something in a way that clicked, in a way that made sense to me. They weren't using fancy words. They weren't trying to be all highfalutin. If anything, I'm lowfalutin. I'm Lola Falana. I am lowfalutin, I like to use simple words because it's easier to understand. And I love making things simple so you feel like you can do something about it. Yeah, Roddy Pup says, there we go. I love it. Wendy M. I love the back and forth. Roddy M is saying, how do we part with things that we could sell, but it takes too long to sell? Roddy Pup and Wendy M says, ask yourself if the money is worth keeping it till it sells. Yeah. LA 64367 says, I donate it all. I will share with you that I used to sell stuff. It was fun. This is one of my things. It was fun until it wasn't. It was fun until it wasn't. I realized at a certain point, I felt like I was spending too much time doing it for the little money I was getting. And as I like to say to people, what's your hourly rate? Yes, that is a t-shirt. It's me, Deb, but I'm not about to start making t-shirts and then junk up your t-shirt drawer. But isn't it funny? What's your hourly rate? Because you have to think about how long it takes you. If it is taking you that long, you could make money from it, or you could make time from it. You could donate that stuff and boom, you know what you have back is a whole bunch of time that you get to do whatever you want. If somebody else wants to make money off it, fine. If you want to make money off of it, fine. But just notice, ask yourself. I remember once on one of my monthly Zooms, that's another thing we do with the people on the mailing list, is we do like a monthly Zoom call. This month it's going to be a decluttering party where we all show up on Zoom at the same time and go to our respective corners and declutter. And I'll never forget just saying to somebody, okay, all that stuff that you want to sell, if you added it all up, how much money do you think you would get? What do you hope to get from it? And I don't know, she said $500 or $5,000, whatever it was. I said, okay, so Is all the effort you're putting in worth that amount of money? And she's like, wow, I never thought of that. I never thought of that, but you know what? You're right. That's not worth my time, whatever it was. And notice the number's going to be different. Everybody's got their own kind of number. So I just ask you, what's it worth to you? And time is the one thing. You can make money other ways. And when you make money, if you think about it, if you follow the trail, you are making money to then go buy things that are going to make your life feel better. Food, heat, clothing. But some things you don't need money in order to have them. You need the time to spend with your friends, the time to go on a walk, the time to read a book. So notice how the selling and the money can also just get you further in on the whole, I'm wasting my time for money. Did I say that right? Yeah, I think I said it right. Okay. Yeah. You are not judgy, and if I can't get rid of something now, it's okay. I have stuff down the basement that I'm not ready to get rid of. Yeah. Yeah. Organization is a total key, but you can't organize it. So much categorizing is organizing. And then whittling down to just what you want and need, decluttering. And then once you know what you have and what you want to keep, it's so much easier to organize. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask of this. There we go. 1138, quick nickel or a slow dime? Yes. Yes, I would rather make a quick nickel. Yeah. Yeah, do I want to hang on for making the most money, or do I want to do it really quick and cheap? Yeah. Okay. So what else do we have? I love it. So much of gathering stuff is about fear and grief. Of course, look, we bring it in. I used to say this, and I'm not going to lie. I used to collect stuff to fill a hole in my heart. I was trying to fill a hole, but it's like keeping the tub on with the drain open. No matter how much water you put in it, if you don't plug up the hole in a way that it does it, the collecting and stuff is only temporary. The buying is only temporary. It's a temporary stopper, but then you're going to start to feel empty again. Once you kind of sew together, once you allow your heart to heal, your soul to heal, then you feel full and you don't need all that other stuff. But it's not an exact science. It's an art, and it's a lifestyle. It's a life thing, you know? All right, Rachel says physical pain, headaches come from anxiety if projects are planned. Okay, then don't give yourself headaches. All right? Yeah, Oceanana said, my husband said after we had our yard sale, was 50 cents an hour worth it? You know what? Sometimes, though, trust me, sometimes when you do those things, you realize, oh, yeah, this took too long. I don't want to do this again. So the next time you're coming up with stuff that you don't want, your brain will not go to, maybe I should sell this. Let's have a garage sale. I have had multiple garage sales. I have sold stuff all over the place. And I realized it was a lot of effort for very little return. Okay? Yeah. We've just been here so many years and haven't moved since 89. LA 6437. Yeah. LA 64. What if you wanted to move? What if you were moving to your dream house? What if you were? That's how I really did a lot of decluttering, was I pretended we were moving to Palm Springs, California. And I said, would this fit in my dream house? Would this go in my dream house? Would I want this thing to take up space in my dream house? When you start thinking of this, you guys, I'm still in PA. I'm not in PS, I'm in PA. Okay? That's okay, because I have transformed my house into one that I love living in, no matter where it happens to be geographically. Okay? Yeah. And the tub analogy. Yeah. And Erin, I bet you know people too, that you try to help them and you try to help them and you try to help them. But if that drain is open and they don't want to close it, it's just like, throwing good money after bad? You know what I mean? It's just like you keep on trying to fill them up, but they keep on draining it out. Only you can heal and weave together that thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'm thinking of some sort of Ronco product from back in the 70s. But when you start to feel better, you'll realize, oh, you know what? Going out and buying something at Target's not going to make me feel better. Having that 14th cookie is not going to make me feel better. 13 cookies, maybe. That extra, I might want to get another drink, but I don't know if I want another drink. Giving yourself that time to realize, why am I doing this? Can give you an opportunity to change what you do. All right. Jennifer Burgess, Mother of three pearls, love it. Good morning. Jennifer is saying, first time emptying my husband's room in 14 years. On second contractor bag of trash plus one to donate. There you go. You can start to do things at any time. You know? Yeah, LA 64367. Notice that kind of, oh my God, but we've been here for so long. I'm helping my mother declutter. Now, she has help. She has me. She has my sister. She's been in that house since 1969. There's never, it's okay. You can start at any time, but you have to want to do it. Here's the thing I realize. I really try not to get into convincing energy. I can extol the virtues of decluttering, but if part of you doesn't want to do it, it ain't gonna work. So notice that you have to participate in the process. This is one of the reasons I am not one of those organizers or declutterers who comes to your house. Because I know that I have done it for people before, and unless they've changed their habits and their mindset, they are going to reclutter. You know? Things just accumulate. In-laws family has brought their things here when they have moved. So interesting thing. Notice that. LA 64367. Notice how they said they didn't accumulate. In-laws family has brought their things here when they have moved. So interesting thing. Notice that. LA 64367. Notice how they said they didn't want. Okay? They were cool. Sorry, I just got a phone call. They were cool with getting rid of them, but you accepted what they wanted. Now, there are some boundaries here. If you don't want the stuff that they didn't want, you can also get rid of that. Yeah. Now, Shell says, it makes me feel better. I'm adding that. For me, it's about somebody else needing it. Yes, I don't need all these things, but there's somebody out there who might. So how can my abundance help somebody else? Okay. It's funny. I'm getting a phone message. Got to make sure we got the time. Yeah. So, yeah, pretend to move. That's what I did, and it worked for me. Yeah. And as long as you get rid of the stuff you don't sell at a garage sale, it is worth it. Yes, because you have already dissociated from, you've distanced yourself from that stuff anymore. You were ready to let it go if you bought it, if you sold it, and you're still ready to let go of it, even if you didn't sell it, going from having a garage sale to then donating those items to a donation place. So notice there are steps in the process. Yeah. Again, LA 64367. I'm not good with names, but remember up thread, somebody said my spouse brought in a generator, a second generator. Spouse keeps getting office chairs, but doesn't get rid of the one he's replacing. Have a conversation with these people. My husband and I, we were down in the basement. I had a conversation. We had 2 office chairs down there. One that used to be mine, one that used to be his. Then we got different office chairs. Now, he sometimes has people over. Like in a few minutes, somebody's going to come over and do some music-y things. And so we keep those around just in case. But we had a conversation, and we both feel good about the quantity of office chairs we have in our house and where they are located. Decluttering on your own is having a discussion with yourself. Decluttering with other people is having a discussion with other people and having a civilized conversation with curiosity, not judgment, like you would do for yourself, of listening to their stories as opposed to saying, well, that's stupid. That's the same thing that's happening internally with you. It's what's going to happen externally when you're trying to declutter when you live with somebody else. Now, here's a funny thing. Lydia says, I have a garage sale once a year with friends. We have mimosas and a great time socializing with neighbors. Notice that. Notice that the garage sale is an excuse to socialize and connect and drink mimosas. My God, if we had that, I like to be efficient. I would eliminate the garage sale and I would just be like, hey, does anybody want to socialize and have mimosas? Because I have very little things. I have very few things left to contribute to garage sale. But notice the garage sale is just an excuse to have the connection. Now, Abbott Elementary, nice to see you. I brought 3 QVC reading glasses to my best friend in Connecticut, since I have an abundance. Yeah. Kids wanting mom to store things until they get their forever home. Okay, Mamuski, I hear that. What does mom want? What does mom want? Does mom want to store the things? The kids don't always have to get what they want. Decluttering is a life skill. Decluttering is a life skill, and you can say, no, I love you, but no, I don't want your stuff in my house anymore. Let's make a plan for you to get this stuff out of here. And then maybe that gives you an opportunity to decide. When it's easy to keep things as they are, people just like to kind of, keep it going. But if you say, no, if you want this stuff, you're going to have to pay for a storage unit, they may change their mind. Okay, so Deb and Mamuski, please, you deserve to say to yourself, what do I want? Listen for the answer. Write it down if you need to. And then have a conversation with somebody else to say, this is what I want. I want your things out of my house. And not like, you don't have to be crabby about it. Hey, guess what? I am done with your stuff. We're going to make a plan. And we're going to make a plan that works for the both of us as to when your stuff can leave my house, because I don't want your stuff in my house anymore. It's about communication. It's about communication with yourself about why I'm keeping this. It's about conversating with other people, communicating what you want, and then doing something about it, taking action. Mic drop? Okay. There we go. I do. They are not being used. They are sitting out in a room all random. Okay. Get the kids involved. There we go. All right, GA Mom 13. Okay, I got you. I get a busy day of coaching and consultations today, but guys know I always get back to people. Yeah, Missy still has guilt furniture from my grandmother. Your grandmother is in heaven now, and she is so enlightened. She knows guilt is a feeling not worth giving your time and energy to. Release yourself from the guilt that you're giving yourself. Your grandmother's not giving you the guilt. The voice in your head that you're attributing to your grandmother is. Your grandmother's saying, oh my God, just go. Live the life. Go. Get the furniture you want. Live the life that I cannot live. Live the life that I couldn't live. Notice, I'm even looking as if I'm talking down to somebody from heaven. Release the guilt. Okay? Release the guilt. It just ain't worth it. Yeah. Okay. LA 64367. I want to rid, okay, I'm going to make sure I get time because I got coaching in like 2 minutes. I want to rid a dresser in my room, but it's wicked heavy. I love that it's wicked heavy. I feel like chopping it up and putting it into trash bags. You could. I'm not going to stop you. But if you want, you can also ask for help to get it moved. Okay, if the drawers don't work easily, yeah, if it's not worth it, there's some crappy furniture out there. Excuse me. If you don't want to burden somebody else with crappy furniture, maybe the best thing is to chop it down. Maybe that will make you feel good, Chopping makes me feel good. Yeah, if it drives you crazy, then do something about it. Don't drive yourself crazy. Do something about it. Now, I gotta go because I'm gonna coach, okay? I have my one-on-one clients, and yes, I have one-on-one paying clients. I rarely talk about that because I have a very full schedule, but I will always make time for the people who need me. And that could be you if you want to be one of my clients. But it all starts with me. I'm Beth. I'm Destination Decluttering Life Coach. Follow me here on TikTok. I do a TikTok every day. If you want to find out when it is, get on my mailing list. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. If you want me to be your one-on-one coach, it's paid coaching. We start with a consultation. You can go to my website, find out about that, okay? Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow at some prearranged time, because when you write it down and you schedule it, you can make things happen, okay? This has been really fun. I hope it was fun for you, and perhaps I'll see you again on another TikTok Live, all right? Did I hit it? No, I didn't hit it. Okay, I did.